Hello, Bloodstains. Been a good week for me. Well, kind of. How about you, Alistair?
It's a couple of interesting things, but yeah, it's not been too bad. So I warn you all now, I had quite a busy time at work, so I might be running a little bit off memory on this.
Uh,
You have to forgive me if I miss anything.
well, here's your Valentine's Day gift, everybody. A
Yay.
Blood Bowl recap. Let's jump straight into it. Freddy's Nightmares versus Flight of the Lizards. Highest scoring game of the week by quite a margin. So, Nightmares took Cheney, and that's all they did with their inducement money. At the start of the game, ball bounces near Leon plays the bashes and picks the ball up. Barry, in response, injures a skink and puts a bit of pressure on the ball. Leon switches the play up to the other side. Barry continues his bash game and Leon rushes his skink down, committing for a touchdown on turn 3. Some pressure is applied, but not enough. 1-0 at turn 3 for the skinks. Barry plays a strong bash game, but is unable to secure the ball. Leon rushes through a couple of skinks and blitzes down the ghoul, bashing him down with a stun. Barrels are both done in well blitz to make the ball safe, so his turn ends quickly. Before Leon goes for the touchdown, he uses his croc and attacks Wilhelm Cheney. He is very lucky because he rolls them both down, and Cheney, instead of accepting the hit, does decide to use wrestle, which gives Leon the opportunity to steal a touchdown to make it 2-0. The rest of the half ends pretty much nothing much exciting happens. Maybe a couple of injuries, but nothing that of note. Leon gets a perfect defense in the second half. Barry gets off to a good bash game, knocking out and injuring 2 Sauruses, but he does not secure the ball. Leon tries to surf a player but fails. Barry uses wrestle when he shouldn't have, and then Leon manages to run his team down the flank. Barry plays a good bash game, but the ball is still not secured for an early turnover causes 3-0. Chaos come back, another perfect defense. Barry burns for his last reroll in the bash game and then fumbles the ball. Leon frees Saurus and blitzes down the player basing the ball and runs through some skinks to base the ball himself. Barry continues his blocking game, but knocks a guy into the ball. 1 die stun. The ball bounces favourably, but finishing the turn, injuring another Saurus. Leon injures one of Barry's blitzers, sweeps in for 4 to make it 4-0 at turn 12. Both teams getting a reroll, which works out better for Barry because he's been burning for his rerolls. Barry plays a strong bash game and finally secures the ball and has made it safe. Leon moves players up the side, surrendering a gap down the middle. Barry plays some handoff and a pass to maximise the possible SPP to make it 4-1 with a touchdown for the Wolfman. Final drive is a pretty standard lizard drive. 2 skinks in scoring position, a third at the back to do the handoff. Some pressure is applied, but not enough. 5-1. Interesting game. I felt like Barry made a couple of tactical incorrect couple of decisions which probably shouldn't have. He used wrestle against a Saurus who did not have block a couple of times, and I feel that if he didn't use his wrestle, forcing Leon's turns to be over quickly, he is better for Barry. Looking at statistics, nothing exciting happens too much. Leon gets a way more successful bashes, but loses on the injuring front. If we look at the dice rolls, Freddy's Nightmares, that's pickups is slightly unlucky, to be honest. Pickup rolls is the only thing that's really a bit unfortunate for him. If we look at his bash dice, though, slightly more skulls than you would expect from that sort of number. Hey, Alistair?
That's it. Well, the point with again with this is notice there's a lot of one dices going on. And I'm not going to say this in every game. I've been noticing this trend, guys. If your guy doesn't have block, you got to think: is it worth me taking the one dice, or should I just leave him marking this player? And 9 times out of 10, you should just leave him marking the player. It's just too risky. I mean, obviously there's always a caveat. Sometimes it's good to do it. There's a little bit of nuance there, but there's too many risky one dice blocks going on in the league, particularly with things like zombies and just players that just shouldn't be doing it.
I, for one, think you should all carry on doing your one dice plays. It works out well for me.
No matter what. That's why a lot of you are burning through your rerolls so fast. You're rolling both downs or skulls, and you have to re-roll it, and then you get another both down or another, and then it's turnover. Even against the elves, at least the elf can dodge away, but at least the guy's still standing.
So Alistair says you're all terrible, and you should all show him. You should all show him. Show him.
Yeah, you could remind me of that when we look at my position on the league table.
So let's look at Leon's dice. Looking at his D6s. Slight pickups within the bell curve. Dodges within the bell curve. Go for it are slightly below what you would be expecting. And that's a slightly high amount of 5s compared to everything else. But if we look at the bash dice, you'll find that he's got quite a few both downs compared to everything else.
He does.
A slightly low amount of pals as well, so he's been a bit unlucky there, but he's still managed to do well. Imagine if he does have block on all his Sauruses. That'll make... He'll run away. He'll just run away.
Going through the dice distribution, he hasn't double sculled it. He's got one. I'd like to point out to the rest of the league, Leon did one dice block this entire game. One.
Yeah. And that one dice block caused a stun to the ghoul. I remember watching it. I was surprised.
Yeah, it happens. It does. Like I said, sometimes you've got to do it. But if he had, when he leveled up, these dice would have been awesome if he had the block.
Yes. Let's look at the level ups for these teams. Luckily, they're both on the same page. Leon has got...
Oh no, it doesn't help when I... Sorry, yeah.
Looking at Leon's team first, he's got sidestep on one skink, diving tackle on another. Would you fire them, Alistair?
I would, because, the position Leon's in at the moment, he hasn't got the money to replace anything. So the first thing I would do is save up the 80k to fire the movement 5 Saurus, get rid of him, get another Saurus in. But after that, because he's going to have to wait a few games, they might level up again and they might get something good. If they don't, then the one that's the furthest away from leveling up again gets fired, and I just replace him with another skink. But yeah, that's what I would do. Diving tackle on a skink. I know some coaches do it, but I wouldn't do it because I don't like basing my skinks against other players. But Leon's playing really well, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And we saw an interesting choice for Necromantic.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, they're not known for their passing game, the Necromantics, are they?
No. And I think, Barry does try to build in a passing game into most of his teams. But you've got to be careful because I think taking catch on a werewolf, he may come to regret it. Block or even dodge. They're bashing players.
I would definitely go for block first, personally.
Yeah, block first. I mean, it's your ghouls you've got to build up to be ball carriers anyway, rather than your werewolves. If you can.
He needs 5. There's 5 players on his team with Edge 3, and if you're going to play a passing game, you kind of want one of them to roll a double. But if you roll a double on your whites, what else do you want to take, really? You might want to take dodge on your whites. You might want to take guard on your ghouls, or even stand firm somewhere to just get them where you want them.
Yeah, sidestep on a white I think would be interesting, but yeah, I mean,
that's it. I was talking about doubles, not singles.
I think the whites need a double to get a sidestep.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the first game with Some interesting choices for level up. Alistair disagrees with none of them.
Catch on a werewolf. No catch on a werewolf. But hey, you know, he could prove us wrong as the season goes on. So.
Over to your game, Alistair.
All right. So this was against the Lizard. So Ken, I know he definitely induced the Crocs with guard.
He's induced a Crocs with guard in every game apart from the first game, where he induced a Croc with break tackle.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, it's, you know, get used to how to handle the Crocs when you get one of your own, you know, and it does put a bit more strength on the line. And I think he used it to good effect in this game. So he's receiving the ball. I think he failed to pick up the ball, and I managed to run some players up to start threatening him. But obviously, with Skinks, you know, it wasn't the end. He managed to pick it up the second time and ran down to a flank and started caging up. I was able to sort of slow that cage right down. I mean, he wasn't going to break through. There wasn't a lot of injuries going on in this game. I think he was sort of finding it difficult with all the blodge on my team. He runs the Skink to the other side, is a little bit more exposed. I managed to get the Skink down. I pick up with a blitzer. I run the blitzer up towards the end zone, but he manages to get a Saurus with two go for it. Passes both go for it. Whacks me, knocks me down. I think he KOs me off. Manages to pick up the ball again. And in this part of this drive, he's able to get the ball right deep into my end zone because I'm kind of split up. I haven't managed to get all the players quite because we're slow, so it's hard to get the players quite round. But I do okay, and he has to break his Skink out. And again, he leaves it exposed, and I managed to get it down, pick up the ball. A little bit of shenanigans on the line of scrimmage to clear myself some space, hand off, and just, I think it was the edge 4 line, and she just ran up to the pitch, and I had a couple of turns, and she managed to score. So we go into the second half 1-0, and he kicks to me. And low casualty game. Neither side's really getting casualties. I'm finding it hard to break through all the strength for Saurus. I'm not really getting the rolls that I need to do that. He's able to base the ball carrier with the Crocs, who is Miss Strength 4 Edge 4. She hands off to another player who runs it down the other side of the pitch. We end up in another bogged down situation there, and I hand her back off to another player who runs it back to the other side again. We just slowly were able to get up to the pitch and get within scoring distance. And as soon as I got there, I was thinking, well, if I score now, it's 2 turns for the return, but I can live with a 2-1, so I scored. And in the second, like a standard Skink 2-turn touchdown, you know, I made him roll a few dice to get it, but he was able to run his Skink down and equalize it. So I will say the early thing that really slowed Ken down this game was out of his control. It's just a Lizard team that's not leveled up. He's not got any block on it. When we look at his level ups, you'll see that situation got remedied in this game. I think he did. There were a few injuries and stuff happening in this game, but it wasn't enough to turn the tide either way, you know. So I think as soon as he starts, a bit like Leon and his Lizards, you know, as soon as Ken gets those level ups on his team, he's going to be quite a formidable force.
Yeah. Just, you look at it, both teams got the same amount of running yards. It's just Alice's were done over 6 turns each half, and Ken did his running yards in 2 turns over each half. So Ken pretty much got down to the end zone in his first drive, but he just about managed to break it there.
Yeah.
He does get the better of the bashing game with you, doesn't he? If you have a look, he
really does. Yeah.
Yeah, but he does sustain a lot of KOs. I suspect they're from dodges that have failed.
I think that my KOs were sort of equalising out the injuries. Oh, he did kill a player as well, I believe.
No one important, I remember.
No, I killed one of his players.
And then he appoed it.
That's just mess me up completely sometimes. Yeah, I know. I remember killing one of his players.
No, I think I remember one of your players dying. I definitely think it was one of your players that died. I'm not going crazy here.
Might have been, yeah.
Let's look at dice
No, I
rolls.
appoed that. I might be thinking it and confused with another game.
Yeah,
That's fine.
let's look at the dice. Let's look at the dice rolls. Dude, where's my comedians first? His dice roll relatively even, slightly high amount of 5s, but probably if you're looking at everything else being even, it's about where you're expecting the bell curve. Quite unlucky on the dodges.
Gonna say, I think that didn't do him any favours either.
A little bit unlucky on the dodges, considering he is a 3+ dodge. He's looking at about 66%, only 57, so 10% below where he should be. Being a lizard team does do a lot of dodges, so he was hoping more for like a 9 and 5 as more than, or a 10 and 6, 10 and 4 there. Slightly unlucky. Everything else seems to be fine. Pickup rolls are exactly what you're expecting. But that 16 go for it, 16 successes. I like it.
Oh, lots of guys. I remember that, but yeah.
Let's look at his bash dice. 19 both downs. That's quite a lot of both downs if you compare them to his pushes. And again, that's not quite good. That's not good news for Ken at this sort of stage. He still needs more block. I'm gonna say, I suspect that, as I said, that will be sorted. That should be sorted out sooner rather than later. So yeah, it's just early lizards being early lizards by the looks of things.
Just yet another note. One dice block right at the end, which sculled into a double skull, which caused the turnover in the end of the match. But yeah. I mean, as you can see, lots of double skulls that he ended up having to re-roll.
Low Kits being the only players to do one double skull. Name your players, Kenneth.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Illustrious Headhunters. Ooh, that's a lot of both downs. That's not many dice in total, to be honest. I've got less dice than you, but that's not many dice.
I'm trying,
Lots of both downs, lots of pals. You're getting slightly lucky compared to your pushes there, but probably being such a low sample size is within margin of error, to be honest. Yeah, because if that both downs a push, yeah, you're just slightly lucky, but within bounds of reason there, Alistair. If we look at the D6s, not many 1s, not many 2s, lots of 5s, You're getting good dice there, Alistair.
Yeah, I got amazing dice that game. Really, 23 5s could be outnumbering everything. Oh, except 3s, but yeah, that's pretty good dice rolling going on.
Yeah, the art of rolling computer-generated dice. Well done.
That's right.
You could tell me about your level ups if you got any.
I will have to have I think the catcher leveled up.
Yeah, your catcher's got block, because that's an obvious first choice for an Amazon team with armor value 7 and strength 3 and edge 3.
Yeah, hunting hard about firing her to keep her going, to trying to get her something good, but I thought, no.
Diving catch could be something.
I think so, something like that. Yeah, I'll find a use eventually, but yeah, no, I don't think anybody else leveled up that game. For me,
I think you need to get another thrower, and you need to get Hail Mary pass.
That's right. Well, the problem is if I get another thrower, I'm running out of people to put on the line of scrimmage as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll see. If somebody dies in that, I occasionally will relook at the team.
So let's look at Ken's level ups. He's still below the 1,000 TV mark. That's not many players. Oh, poor Ken. Oh, more block. He's got movement up. I believe he already had the movement up, didn't he? He might have already had the movement up.
I know. I think he got that this game. He got quite a lot of level ups this game. I think that was. I think Ken got them that already had the movement up. I think this was for him. I mean, he's got the two block now, and that's what I mean. That is going to make a big difference. I mean, obviously,
I believe he's saving up for his Croxigore.
Yeah, save up for your Crocs first. Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. And just sack the movement 7 skink as soon as you can afford to replace, which will be a few games out. But I mean, obviously, you might kind of how many players? 7, 8. He's only down one player.
Yeah. Let's go to the next game. I believe the next game is my game. Oh no, it's not my game. It's my first. Well, it's my other game, but it's not my game. Right.
Well, yeah.
So,
Surprising score.
surprising score. I don't think anyone else expected Willem to play this well. And the best thing is, the only thing that stopped him from winning the game is not fouling people.
Oh, okay.
The Leviathans take a Wizard, Babe, and Menarian. I've never seen Menarian get played before this game. Strength 4, block, tackle, wrestle player. That's a very good player for the Elves. William secures the ball and plays a crossfield pass immediately because the ball is far too close to the line of scrimmage and is on the wrong side for him. So he plays a crossfield pass and then makes a safe cage a bit further upfield. Rob plays the screening game to keep Willem stuck in position. Rob gets a 1 dice on the ball and wrestles it down, and Slippery Simon picks it up. Simon is wizarded and the ball is picked up, passed, but intercepted. Interestingly, Simon's injury is a missed next game. So apparently, I will not confirm this, but apparently his next game is going to be against Phil's Chorfs.
Oh, that's why he took the missed next game. Okay, that's. But you know, it's another game. 1-star player point away from that.
No, I believe that's when he's returning. Oh,
that's when he's returning. Oh, okay. Did he attempt to a pocket, or did he just sort of?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, the ball is so Willem secures the ball, makes a pass, and the pass is sadly intercepted. That's so annoying because that pass would have left it to 1-0 to Willem. The ball is made safe, but Willem successfully makes a 1 dice block on the ball. The ball is bounced loose. Another pass is played, and this time handed off to make the score 1-0 to Willem. Willem sets his defense up a little bit too deep, but I think I know what he was doing. He just didn't want to. He wanted to get away from Angry Joe. Raptor's bashing game deserts him, and he pushes all the way. A foul causes a KO, but a rat is sent off. Willem spent his last reroll on a GFI that he used to surround the rats in the centre. Ball carrier stays deep, and a turnover is caused by a 1 dice goal. Pressure is applied by Willem. Angry Joe kills Prince Imric, but as you can see from the score screen, he is appoed, and the ball is appoed. The ball is handed off and ball upfield, but second catch is failed. Willem tries to pick the ball up, but instead it just gets rid of the. But he picks the ball up. He dodges out. He makes a go for it. He should have just punted the ball upfield before making the go for it. But what a shame, because the ball goes back upfield. The rats cause another injury. Playing an accurate pass. Willem fails to pick up the ball again, leading to a 1-1 at half time. Player count is 9 players each. I have no idea who that favours, but I reckon it's probably the rats due to their higher movement. Rats play a good bash game, secure the ball. Willem bases some rats and fails to make a breakthrough. The ball is moved to the line of scrimmage, and scoring threats switch sides all the time. Willem down scoring threats and bases the cage. Rob retreats. Willem applies pressure but fails a GFI. Rob bashes downfield again. The ball is returned upfield. Willem blitzes the ball. Tries to pick it up and fails. Rob downs all the threats. There is like 1 elf left standing, and he then makes a punt to get the ball in a relatively safe position. The only player standing up manages to pick the ball up, and he tries to throw it back downfield, but it's intercepted again. So 2 interceptions for the Rats, so unlucky for Willem. And it's a turn 16, 2-1, which is so cruel, so cruel.
It's still a good score line for Willem, though. I mean, you know, he's obviously coming on and learning as a player, and that's what we always like to see. You know, I think if he sticks with this team and, maybe.
I think he's found his niche, and I think he needs to. If he does need to do a bit of fouling. I know elves don't foul, but you do need to do a bit of fouling sometimes. Especially
Yeah.
Angry Joe is a threat to any team, as we have pointed out. Slippery Simon is basically a one-turner, but it's a tight team built around a two-pronged attack. You need to take them both out if you want to stop this team.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean...
2 interceptions from 3 passes. It's so unlucky. So let's go straight to the dice rolls. Leviathans, that's a lot of 1s, but there's also a lot of 9s. Not many 2s. Those dice are all over the place. God knows where they should be ending up. Probably around 30. So let's say he's within reason, because 2s are normally fine for elves.
Yeah.
Three successful passes. You know, 2 of them caught by rats though. Slightly unlucky in his pickups, but quite a few of them will be in tackle zones. GFIs within exactly where you're expecting with them. Catches slightly unlucky, but they might be within tackle zones. So again, could be within reason. Nothing strikes me as out of the ordinary for those sort of dice. If you look at his bash dice, he's not making enough bashes, but what a lot of pals! A lot of pals!
Yeah, he's got a good distribution there. And I'd just like to point out that Willem has done no 1 dice plus at all this game.
Good play is rewarded with good dice. Sometimes.
That's right. No, mate, he's got he's got a pretty good die. Nearly most of those rolls got a rat down. Look at it.
If we look at Rob Top's dice, his dice are average, about average on D6, but it's all over the place again. But probably averaging around 19 or 20. Yeah, so let's look at the actual dice rolls. Fireball, 1 failure, which means only 1 player was taken down by the fireball, and it was Slippery Simon. What a great time! What a great time to be alive!
That's right.
Jump up, succeeds all the time. Wake up from KOs, what you're expecting. Dodges, very good. Those are very good dodges. I suspect that most of them are done by your gutter runners, but there was definitely some Edge 3 players making dodges, so it's not all there. 2 successful intercepts. What a great time to be alive.
That's right.
Those are elves with catch numbers. Well, yeah. And look at the bash dice. Not many pals. Lot of pushes. Working that out. Other than the pals being a little bit unlucky, all is fair in Blood Bowl. He's a bit unlucky with that, but let's have a look. Only 1 die he's made. I count 1 die, but that was against a strength 4 player. 2 1 dies. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you don't deserve to win this game. Don't deserve to win this game, Rob.
Slow down there, Rob. Did you?
Slow down. Too many 1 dies.
Yeah, you know what's going on. A double skull reroll. I mean, he got quite nice. I mean, from the look of that, so
rolling a lot of dice.
It didn't seem to hamper him too much.
Let's look at the teams. I suspect the Leviathans have received a couple of level ups considering they're such low TV. Leap on Prince Imric. Ambitious. I love it.
Yeah.
Leap is a meme that you must always do. And I suspect we're not going to see many levels up on Roland's Rat, but I'm pretty sure we'll see 1.
Yeah, I think that's the only one.
I don't think there's any level ups for the rats either. Actually, any level ups for the rats. I might be mistaken.
I think he needs to try to get a backup for Slippery Simon on there. I mean, he's got 2 ball suckers. I would have said was possibly 1 too many, but he's got 1 up and coming. He just needs to make that Slippery Sally a little bit of a backup for slippery
He
Simon.
does have 3 ball sappers actually, because one of them happens to be rat number 4.
Yeah,
He's also a
I
ball
would.
sapper.
I would potentially sack one of those slippery snake or slippery Sam. Probably slippery snake because he's the furthest away. Oh, he needs 10k more, I think, to do
Yeah.
that, and just get another 2 gutter runners that can, because slippery Simon could die, and only having 1 gutter runner like that to rely on, I think it's just he did have another one. He had another, but he had to sack it. So
it's a bit unfortunate. So let's move on to the next game. My game. Oh, Fernando Morientes. Game starts. Daniel plays completely normal, completely fine. Makes a very nice line of chorfs in the middle of the pitch. And I'm like, well, I'm going to need to use my strength 4 player to start breaking down the line. So I blitz with my strength 4 player. Block both down. Okay, I'll re-roll that. Block both down. Oh well, I've lost turnover on the first block. I can recover this, I guess. Dead.
oh god.
Apo. Niggling injury. So niggling injury plus armor 7. I'll just take the death, please. I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I counted it out. A 1 in 206 game. 1 in 206 game. Ah dear. So one of those. So my first turn ended up doing garbage. So my players end up being out of position as he manages to swamp me. It's just a miracle that I managed to get as many players out. He scores on turn 7 with a very slow, very controlled, very comfortable drive for him. I respond by doing your standard standard throw catch. However, I have to do it with a blitzer instead of a thrower because both my throwers are off the pitch. One of them gets sacked. In the second half, actually before that, Daniel accused me of being lucky. I thought that was a bit mean. Bit mean. It was a 4+ throw. I had a reroll. I didn't need to use the reroll. Then it was a 2+ catch because there's a steal. It was then a 3+ dodge, 2+ dodge, and then touchdown. So I thought it was a bit mean to call me lucky, but each their own. Second half, again, I don't have a thrower, so a blitzer stays in the backfield, picks up the ball, and I spend the rest of the game delaying for as long as I can. I have everyone upfield, stopping players and getting attacked all the time, and I'm just breaking everyone out. He keeps attacking me, he keeps blitzing me with his Minotaur, and I just keep trying to run away from it, and thanks to block and dodge, I am able to. Eventually he brings a bull centaur up and I'm like, well, I need to throw it up now. So I make the throw, make the catch, make a handoff and score a touchdown on turn 13. So I try my best to stop him from scoring again, but I am down so many players that it's a miracle if I could do it. And it does require him to make some go for it to the end, but it's a 2-2 on the final turn of the final play of the half. It was a disheartening game for me because of how it started, but I'm happy with my performance when I actually pull my belt up.
Yeah, they're a tough team.
They are tough. They're a very good team, and it's going to be games like this that are going to stop me from getting into the playoffs because it's damaged me for the next game. Not destroyed me, but it has damaged me. But attrition will take its toll.
Yeah. I think you've been reasonably lucky-ish on the attrition side, so maybe it's just catching up a little bit now.
Yeah, I'm not too annoyed, but I'm slightly disheartened. As you can see, if you look at the statistics, the ball spent 81% of the time in my half. So yeah, it was very much played in my half that game. And if you look at that, there's a lot of injuries he's inflicted there, lots of casualties as well.
Yeah.
Look at my dice. Yeah, actually, I'm slightly unlucky on the number of ones I've got there. I
think so.
twos make up for it a little bit, I would argue, but as you can see, I'm making a lot of dodges. Bear in mind, some of them are 3 pluses. Most of them will be 2 pluses, but some of them will be 3 pluses. Pickups, I succeed twice, but I only make 2. Passes, I make 2 throws. Bear in mind, both the passes are 4 plus passes, so that is slightly lucky. I will concede to that. Only make 2 go for it.
Well, I was going to point that out, actually. I think that a few of us need to look at is we do take too many go for it, and this just shows, you don't need to make. You need to really. It's like the 1 dice blocks. You really got to think about is it go for it worth it, because it is rolling the dice.
And now the highlight of the week. Not a single pow.
Oh my god!
Not a single pow.
You didn't do too many blocks on that though. That's
yeah. It's a.
Well, I don't. Elf Union,
I was trying to fish for holes and I couldn't really find holes, so I was just playing super defensive, super keep as much of my players alive, because the first 2 turns were brutal for me. I didn't spend a whole turn with 11 players on the pitch, bear in mind. But yeah, a lot of both downs compared to everything else, but I don't even think the sample size is worth pointing out and discussing too much.
No, not really. Don't.
Slightly, yes, but considering if the both downs and the pushes were the other way around, you'd say, that's just unlucky in the amount of powers. But down at both downs as well, which the dwarfs are going to capitalise on because they're dwarfs. But yeah, let's look at the IDF. Not many 1s, but barely any 2s or 3s. To be fair, he's actually probably averaging around 9 if you look at those dice in general. Maybe 8. Pickups were slightly favourable. I think those pickups were done with the Bull Centaurs, but again, the sample size is quite small, so again, it doesn't really need to analyse. And I wonder, let's have a look at his bash dice. All within reason. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just a crucial injury early on, which made me have to rethink my style in that game. But yeah, a bit rude to call me lucky, but okay, I'll take it.
I don't think he possibly didn't realise about Nerves of Steel.
That's what I was thinking. It was the standard, and it was just the standard elf play that I did.
Yeah. Just so you know, Daniel, Nerves of Steel means that catch is ignoring all the tackle zones around him when he catches the ball.
Let's look at the level ups. We will look at the Israeli defense walls first. I don't think they've actually got a level up. Looking at that.
I think one of these Chaos Doors looked at, because his MVP showed he was over the.
Okay, so Abigail Libram was probably the player, I think, because
he's taking
Mighty Blow. He's taking Stand Firm over Mighty Blow. Interesting. Assuming that's the player. I will actually go back and check which player it was. It was Abigail Libram. Was Abigail Libram? Abigail Libram. Yeah, it was Abigail. It was him. He's taken Stand Firm over Mighty Blow.
Yeah, he should have taken Mighty Blow, but that's okay. Maybe you didn't realise he hadn't got it on that player yet.
Right then, and my team. A catcher down, but Cesar was sacked because he got a armour down. So I've now got Cesar the second. I'm out of money.
Out of money.
So we'll see what happens.
You've still got some pretty strong players in there, though.
Yeah, the team's fine. The team's fine.
Yeah,
it's just it's a minor setback. But a minor setback can lead to a major setback depending on how my next games go.
Yeah.
And especially the amount of money I get. So that's that game. Last 2 games were games you watched, Alistair. So tell me about them. Ghoulies and the Snobbity Snobs.
So the Ghoulies and the Snobbity Snobs. So Chris, the Ghoulies take a wizard, and he induces a second werewolf and gives him tackle, and takes Cheney. So he's got 3 werewolves on the pitch.
Everybody loves Cheney.
That was interesting. So Chris receives the ball, and he gets the ball, and he basically he's going for a really early touchdown. He throws the ball with a long pass up from into the middle of the second half. He hands it off. He's quite near the end zone, but the Ghoulies are able to basically mark all the players. I think it was a failed dodge with the ball carrier, and he lost the ball, and the Ghoulies are able to sort of capitalize on that, and he picks up the ball and runs it down, but he loses the ball, and it's very much going like that for most of the half. Someone's picking up the ball, they're getting knocked down, and there were times that both you thought maybe this is it, they're going to break away. I mean, there were times Chris looked like he was actually going to pick up the ball and score, but then he failed the dodge roll and failed the dodge re-roll. So we'll have to look at these dice at the end of this. I felt maybe he was a little bit unlucky there. Eventually, the Ghoulies managed to dodge a werewolf out, pick up the ball, and he runs the werewolf down, and it's Boris Johnson, and they just can't stop him, and he gets all the way down to the end zone, and he manages to score.
Can't stop Boris.
You can't stop Boris. And get touchdowns done. That's what we like. So going into the second half, the Ghoulies are receiving. He gets a Ghoul to get the ball. I think, well, this is good. He's going to build up this Ghoul and make it more of a ball carrier to free up the werewolf to go off and hit things. But Chris is basically trying to foul, so he's put all his guys around one player. He fails the foul roll, doesn't get sent off, just doesn't do anything. And Liam drops a fireball in the center of his own. At ground zero is one of his own players, and he hits like a ton of L's. I think he only injures one. It doesn't get a very spectacular result out of that. Sorry, that's how I've missed the opening bit. Chris actually gets a blitz. Sorry, I've got to rewind a bit. He gets a blitz, and he manages to move everybody forward, and he does a bit of fancy footwork and dodges through some tackle zones, picks up the ball, and scores by turn 2. Sorry, and then after that is everything I just said. Going on.
So fireball.
So we get back to the fireball. So, but then Liam, instead of sort of caging the Ghoul down, breaks the Ghoul off and hands off to Boris Johnson again. It's like, yeah, you can score again. And yeah, I mean, Chris just can't stop him. I mean, he's getting KO'd and things are coming off the pitch. And he does manage to, a couple of times, he manages to screen well enough and mark the ball carrier, but with the strength of a werewolf, for the first time Liam just blitzed through it and managed to get it down. He gets right down to the end zone, and the Snobs are still able to make it difficult for the ball carrier, and I would have dodged away with the werewolf at this point. He still had a reroll, and he doesn't. He hits with the werewolf. You're going to regret this. Liam, you might regret this. He gets a push, it doesn't get down, but he does actually, on the second hit, he gets the POW, puts the elf into the off. I think he goes actually off the pitch because he's standing in the end zone, injures the elf, and scores a touchdown. And at that point, I thought, well, you're just showing off. That's how he got the win, basically. So, no, I mean...
If you can score a touchdown in Frenzy, why not score a touchdown in Frenzy?
Yeah, Well, he could have double-skulled that, that could have ended badly for him.
It was worth it. It's been worth it.
It worked. He got a flashy touchdown out of it. So, 1-2. I mean, Chris got quite lucky with the blitz, but he just kept failing his dodge rolls, and these weren't like silly dodges he was making. These were like normal dodges with players with dodge, and he just go 1-1 and it was just crazy. He just kept failing his dodge rolls.
Interestingly, these teams should be even on armor breaks, considering they're both armor value 8, and I don't think either team has Mighty Blow, does it?
No, or only from the point of view that Liam has a bit of claw going on. The werewolves, I think, made something of a difference in this game. Cheney ended up in the second half a little bit, but Liam, too many one dice blocks, mate. You ended up with turnovers you didn't need to take because of those one dice blocks. He was one dice blocking zombies. And I know you still won, so you know there is that. But
you've made your piece about one dice earlier.
I'm
Talk
never
about
going to stop. It's never going to stop.
You're only allowed to complain about one dice blocks once a week.
Once a week.
Alright, let's look at the dice rolls.
Looking at the dice rolls.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Novelty Snobs. Lots of 4s.
39 ones.
39 ones. Lucky, but also unlucky. Let's look at those dodges. 80% dodge success. That seems about right. He must be making so many dodges.
Yeah, no, 34 dodgers, and he failed 8. That's a lot of dodgers. But
so that's quite a lot. That's just a lot.
I think the perception bias when you're watching it though is he was failing dodgers that he really didn't. You know, he couldn't. It affected it. You know, they were pinnacle dodgers, and like I said, they were fair enough dodgers as well. It wasn't like he had to go for it, but they just didn't pan out.
Considering his leap player is an Edge 5 leap player, he's a bit unlucky to fail 2 of them, but again is within the bell curve. Nothing too out of the ordinary other than, to be honest. Yeah, nothing that just screams at me, apart from go for it, slightly low, but again within the bell curve. Nothing's wrong. And if we look at his block dice, that's a lot of skulls and that's not many pushes.
Yeah.
That's you should be averaging around, looking at that, you're probably looking around 10 on around 10 on everything and around 20 on the pushes, and he's got, actually no, even that, because look at the amount of pals, he's only got 4 pals.
Yeah.
He's a bit unlucky there, isn't he?
He was, yeah. I mean, I think the stumbles mostly got players down.
Let's look at the push dice, or the block dice, sorry, the D6s for the ghoulies. You see a slightly unlucky on the catches, but again within the bell curve. Nothing surprising here, to be honest.
No.
Now let's look at the block dice. Not many skulls, not many both downs if you compare them to pushes, so he's a bit lucky.
Yeah.
So a bit of compounded luck, but again, if you play well, you're going to get good rolls. And again, 2 1 dies that game. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of 1 dies, but I believe Chris does like. I don't know. I know Chris likes a good 1 die as well.
It's fine. Fine. You all keep doing it. It's fine.
Alright then. You keep doing 1 dies and I can keep complaining, guys. Please do.
That's right. It's all good. I'm going to stop complaining. I'm just going to take advantage of it when you all play me. It's all good.
Now, I'm sorry to... Actually, no, let's talk for look at the team's results. Let's look at Snobby Snobs. Did they get a level up? Yes, I'm pretty sure they've got a level up. I'm pretty sure their lineman's now got guard. I'm going to confirm that. And what else have we got there? What else is there? Anything else new, Alistair?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Maybe diving catch. I don't think so, but maybe diving catch. Yep. The movement down thrower is obviously going to be kept because of the strength up. But again, jump up on the blitzer. That's a new skill.
Yeah. Okay, that is new.
That makes sense. That makes sense considering his only movement 6. That's a good recovery. Good recovery for the movement 6 player there. But mind you, hopefully your player doesn't go down. And let's look at the ground by the ghoulies. They're now back up to 1250, where it's about where they started the season, except this time without the assistant coach and cheerleaders. Anything new and exciting? Boris Johnson has not levelled up. Sajid Javid needs to be removed from the team. If you are,
That's right.
get that new guy in. Your new guy's the other werewolf, clearly. Okay.
He's just got to save up his money for. He had to replace a white from the game before, so yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. He just needs to get that second werewolf in now.
Fair enough. Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary there. And now let's look at the last game. Now I'm sorry to be slightly mean to Matt and Phil. I tried watching your game. I fell asleep. The first half was so boring. It really was. But tell me about it, Alistair. Tell me what happened, because I fell asleep during it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Matt receives. I mean, he does look like he's trying to open up a flank, but he just can't really break through. I mean, even Phil's lightning bolt failed. I mean, that's what the game was like. That first half was like they both had just unbelievably bad dice at pinnacle moments. I don't know. I don't think it was consistently every dice, but Matt, both of them. It was just both of them failing with sure feet, failing go for it with show feet. Chaos Dwarf got injured. There were a few injuries going backwards and forwards. Matt's mostly regened his injuries, but he just couldn't get the ball up the field. I mean, they went into the second half 0-0. It was just a static grind fest the first half. And in the second half, sorry, I have to quickly check through my notes. I know Phil's receiving the ball. It's just another grind fest, really, going down. I mean, the Beast Nurgle gets injured, but it regens. Poor old Matt, I think it was on the first or second turn, he double skulls. He's already used his reroll, so had his turn over. And this is the next turn, he double skulls again. And it's turn over. It was, what could I say? It was just a grind fest, guys. I mean, I made notes, but it really is just a big grind fest but all the way down. I mean, eventually Phil does manage to break through a little bit, and he stalls it out for as long as he can. He does get a touchdown. But yeah, what could you say is going to happen with Bash teams? Sometimes it's just a very static grind fest.
But yeah, I think we both predicted this game would be a draw. I think. Actually, no, we said it. Actually, I did predict 1-0 to Phil, so actually I got that prediction right. Let's look at the dice rolls. That's a lot of 1s for the Balmy Army, but that's also a lot of 5s and 6s. Foul appearance did seem to do better than you'd expect. Anything else exciting? Nothing particularly surprising there.
No.
If we have a look at the block dice, slightly higher amount of skulls compared to what you're expecting, but again, slightly higher amount of pals. The blessing curse, when you need your both downs, you're not getting both downs. If we look at the D6s for the Fridge Raiders, that's a lot of 3s. It's a lot of 3s, not many 2s. Really stupid, within what you're expecting. Lightning Bolt, as you said, failed, but again, there's only 1. Dodges, well, they're not really meant for dodging Nurgle teams, mostly Edge 2. Though it's a successful pass and successful catch.
Yeah.
Hey, that's something.
A little bit like that, but yeah, didn't really.
I did notice that the one player that Matt doesn't want to get SPP on is getting all the SPP with the dirty player.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was the other thing. I noticed that, and I mean, it's at a point now where it's like
he's no longer a dirty player. He's now going to be a sapper, I suspect.
You've either got to kind of rethink him or sack him, because he's bloke. Their dirty player becomes bloke because you don't want to foul with him in case he gets sent off because of his other skills. But
yeah, level ups. What level ups did we happen in this game? I did see that Phil also Crawley got his Chorf. The Chorf I got, the SPP, happened to be the Journeyman. And of course he's already fine with amount of Chorfs he has, I suspect. So it doesn't look like any level ups for Phil. Looking at his team. That's still a team I fear facing, but slightly less mighty blow than I face with the IDF. Let's looking at the Fridge Raiders. Nothing exciting, but he's got block on one of his strength up ones. One of his strength up Noga Warriors. Again, I can't wait for him to get tentacles. As long as as long as he gets it after he's played me.
And he's got the movement down. I know it's your kick playing that, but just sack him. I know I end up saying that. I can't afford to place him. Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, also you can get a kick on the next one.
Yeah, Beast of Nowhere seems to got one injury that game. He's on 2 SPP now. It's going to be very exciting to see we can see where this team's ending up, and it's nearly there.
Yeah, when it gets there, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay.
When he gets bloody tentacles on 4 and 5. Johnny Poxville and Bat, that's just going to be a nightmare.
Right.
Anyway,
let's talk about predictions. So, first game, Freddy's Nightmares versus the Lizards. We both said 2-0, and it was not 2-0.
No.
we both said Dude Where's My Chameleon versus Illustrious Headhunters would be 2-1, and it was 2-1.
Yep.
It was slightly closer when it came to Roland Rat versus the Leviathans. You said 3-1, I said 4-1. And you said that the game between me and Dan would be 2-2, so you're doing quite well. But I come back with a brace by predicting the Ghoulies win 2-1 and win it. The fact that Matt would lose to Phil 1-0. So we'll take conclusion. We're both as good at guessing as each other.
That's right.
And the answer to that, and how good is that? The answer is not very.
Right.
But let's take our excellent prediction skills into this week. What do you reckon for Ghoulies versus the Nightmares?
Oh, I'll give this to Liam, probably 2-1 to Liam.
You said 2-1. I think it's going to be 2-0. Yeah. I think it's the Necromantic Derby and the Wolves. Boris Johnson's just going to own the stage, I think.
Yeah.
Fridge Raiders versus IDF. I think Matt's going to get sick of the sight of Chorfs after this game.
That's right, 2 in a row. Both
I'm going to say 1-0 to the IDF because that's what happened last time we played Chorfs, and that's what's going to happen again.
I might give Matt the 1-0, like same scoreline, but opposite.
But to Matt. Okay.
I think it would be a good if Daniel can win this. It's going to really secure him up on the leaderboard. So yeah.
And now Commissioner gives Barmy Eye versus Roland Rat. No Slippery Simon for this game.
No Slippery Simon. Yeah.
This could be the end. I think this could be the end of Angry Joe.
It really could be. Phil does have a claw player of his own, although he didn't give his claw player piling on. I noticed. I gave him claw, mighty blow, and guard, and I was like, no. What are you doing?
It's because they've got so little movement. You kind of want them to utilise it. But I'm saying 2-2.
2-2, yeah. I think it's going to come down to injuries. I'll say 2-1 to Phil. Why not?
2-1 to Phil. Okay then. We then have Snobby Snobs versus Illustrious Headhunters. And I've got Ken challenging me to a side league game, which is quite funny at the moment. But yeah, so Snobby Snobs versus Illustrious Headhunters. I think you've got this. 3-1.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'll go for the 3-1, obviously.
What do you reckon it's going to be?
2-1, possibly.
2-1,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but no, I'll go for the 3. I'll try to do you proud, honest.
Me versus Leon. Okay then. I'll let you start. What do you reckon?
I think you're going to get this like 3-1 to you.
Okay, I agree with that. Funny enough, I thought I was just writing down 3-1 for myself, and then you say 3-1 as well.
Yeah.
And the Leviathans versus Dude, Where's My Chameleon? I think this is going to be Ken's second. Yes, because he beat Leon. Second win of the season. Sorry, Willem.
Yeah. Yeah, I could go with that. I mean, I know Willem's played Lizards himself, but when you're first actually facing them, all that strength fall can be a bit daunting. So
I'm saying 2-1.
Yeah, I would probably go for the same.
I'm just going, yeah, same result, please.
Yeah, I know, because sometimes it's, you know, I try to be different where I can, but I'm like, yeah, but I think Willem could win this as well. I do think he could win it.
And we'll do one last look at the leaderboard for this week. I'm at the top. I have a feeling within the next 2 weeks I'm going to be knocked off that post. I feel like it's this game, and I think the next game's against you afterwards. It could be the time. The time of elves is over. The times of chorfs is nigh.
That's right.
But yeah. Yeah, we got Phil with equal record, but we're yet to play each other, so that's going to be an exciting game. I need to get revenge for the Neophyte playoff final, where he pitch cleared me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ken. Give me a second. Dear, Ken's still challenging me. It's quite funny. But yeah, Willem's been very unlucky. Hopefully, he turns it around because but the game against Rob could be the corner turn that he needs.
Yeah.
You see, Snobby Snobs again are slightly lower than I'd expect them to be, because I said they'd be in the playoffs.
We're still. I mean, it's still early. We're halfway through the season, and it's all going to come. I mean, even the guys that have won 4 games, you know, that's not necessarily going to be secured. And like you said, a lot of those guys have to play each other yet. So,
in fact, yeah, next week is the Barmy Army versus Roland Rat. So there's only going to be 2 people on 2 people on 5 victories as of next week.
I mean, you can't discount Leon there because he's already played a lot of the more hardcore teams, and he's tied against a lot of those, and I think that might have done him a whole lot of favours.
Let's see. So he's played Matt. He's played Phil. He got a draw against Matt. He got a draw against Phil. And I can't remember who his third draw was against. I know his loss was to Kenneth. I think his win was against one of the 2 necromantic teams.
Yeah, it was Barry.
But yeah, he's had a good one. He's got me next. So if he gets a draw against me, which he could do quite easily, it's going to be very interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to be all from us. Enough bless. Right. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.